Emma always believed that some moments were meant to be quiet, like sunsets, old songs, and first glances. She spent most of her afternoons in the small bookstore at the corner of Maple Street, sipping coffee and reading poetry no one else seemed to buy. That's where she met Noah. He walked in during a rainy Tuesday, water dripping from his coat, a lost look in his eyes. "Do you have any letters by soldiers? From the war, I mean," he asked, his voice low. She pointed him toward the history section, but he came back an hour later, empty-handed. "They're too loud," he said with a soft smile. "I think I was looking for something quieter." From then on, Noah came by every week. Sometimes he'd bring her an old letter he'd found at a flea market. Sometimes just a quiet conversation about books or dreams they hadn't dared to chase. One day he didn't come, nor the next, or the next week. Emma kept a note for him behind the register, just in case. "If you ever feel lost again, come back to the corner of Maple Street. I'll be here, with poems and coffee, and someone who missed you more than she ever said." 2 months later, the bell above the bookstore door rang. He was soaked from the rain again, holding a letter in his hand. But this time it was for her. Part 2, The Letter. Emma stared at Noah, stunned, as if her memory had stepped out of a dream and into the bookstore again. He looked the same, only more tired, as if the days had stretched too long without rest. He handed her the letter without a word. Her fingers trembled slightly as she unfolded the page. "Emma, I never meant to disappear. Life has a way of pulling us under just when we learn how to breathe. My father fell ill. I had to leave, quickly, quietly. But every day I thought about your voice, your kindness, the way you remembered what kind of coffee I liked, how you never laughed when I called poetry quiet. I read your note, the one behind the counter. I kept it in my jacket pocket the whole train ride home. So here I am, still a little lost, but hoping you're still here. Still reading poems that no one else understands. Still waiting, maybe for me. If you are, would you have coffee with me? Not in the corner of the bookstore, but across the street. Like it's not a maybe anymore, but a beginning." Emma looked up. Noah wasn't smiling, not yet. He stood still, watching her face like it held his entire future. She folded the letter carefully, tucked it into the back of her book, and reached for her coat. "I was always waiting," she whispered. "Let's begin." They stepped outside together, into the light rain, into the soft gray of a new chapter. Part 3, TheWindowTable. It had been 11 months since that quiet afternoon when Emma and Noah walked into the coffee shop across the street together. They made it their place. The small table by the window, always slightly wobbly, always catching just enough sun in the mornings, became their ritual. Some mornings they sat in silence, reading separate books but holding hands across the table. Some nights they stayed until closing, talking about the future in low voices, as if saying it too loud might scare it away. But time, like love, can be fragile. Noah had dreams, bigger than Maple Street. He'd been offered a photography fellowship in Berlin, a year abroad. A year apart, he told her on a Friday, his voice careful. "I haven't said yes yet," he added quickly, like that would make it easier. Emma looked down at her tea. She hated how calm she looked when her chest felt like it was cracking open. "You should go," she said softly. "If it's your dream, you have to go. But you're part of it now," he said. "I still will be," she smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Even oceans away. 3 weeks later, the table by the window sat empty. Emma came sometimes, just to sit alone, to watch people come and go. Until one morning, a barista handed her a sealed envelope. "For the girl at the window. He said you'd come." Inside was a photo, black and white, blurred just enough to feel like memory. It was of the bookstore across the street, with her silhouette in the window. And on the back, his handwriting. "If I take 1,000 photos this year, only one will ever matter. This one, because you're still my beginning. Wait for me." Emma pressed the photo to her chest, closed her eyes, and smiled. Part 4, A Sky Full of Letters. It had been 9 months since Noah left for Berlin. Emma still visited the window table, still read poems no one else touched. But something had changed. Not the ache of missing, exactly, but the way it became part of her. Like breathing through a scar. They wrote letters. Long, real letters, with ink that smudged and stamps that carried more weight than they looked. Noah sent her photographs with every envelope, crumbling stone bridges, silent lakes, tiny cafes that reminded him of her. And once, folded between pages of a worn German book, a note. There's a rooftop here where I take photos of the sky. Sometimes it looks like the same one above Maple Street. If it is, look up and think of me. She did, and one day the sky answered back. It was a dull Tuesday in April when she found the final letter, not in the mail, but on her bookstore counter, tucked under a stack of poetry. Her hands froze. Her name was written in that familiar slanted script. But this time, no return address. Inside, Emma, I'm tired of sending you pieces of my heart through paper and postage. I'm tired of skies we don't share. So I came home. Turn around. She did. And there he was, standing in the doorway, soaked from rain again, holding no camera, no letter, just a small box in his hand. I couldn't wait another minute, he said, voice shaking. I need you in the frame for the rest of my life. Tears blurred everything. But she didn't need to see clearly to say yes.